I'm all for legal immigration, but it has to be done correctly. Is there any hope of that happening with this current administration? Let's meet tonight's party panel. We've got co-host of KFI Los Angeles, the Gary and Shannon Show. It's Gary Hoffmann. He's lumberjacky and better than ever. We've got Fox News political analyst. He is my dance partner in D.C. Juan Williams is back. And looky here, the handsomest man in all the world. It's Reason senior editor Robby Soave. Welcome back, Robby. Welcome back,
Thank
everybody.
you.
It's so nice to have you all. So, Gary, does she know what secure means? I don't think it means what she thinks it does.
No, she said secure. She said the border's secure, but she also said the immigration system is broken. And I struggled all day to figure out exactly what that means. Allow me this analogy. My car has tires, but the engine is seized up, so it doesn't run. Or, since I'm in California, the battery's not charged. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, if all we had was the million people who the Border Patrol have allowed into the United States waiting their asylum hearings, if that's all we had was those million, that is a bureaucratic nightmare to get all million of those asylum hearings done. On top of that, though, and she's got to know this, there's 55,000 getaways that come across the border every month this year. Every month being they have not been contacted by law enforcement, but we know they came across the border because we captured them on camera or some other monitors. And then the people, the thousands perhaps, that we don't even know that weren't even monitored. They weren't even caught on camera, but they made their way into the United States. It's illogical, the wording that she used to describe the security of the border.
Yes, the border is not secure, Juan, and there are things that she can do about it, being a former senator and being Vice President of the United States, who has been tasked with fixing these broken systems. And there are obviously different aspects to immigration which can all be broken at the same time. She's saying the right words sometimes, but I don't think it's met with the right action. What more could she do here?
Well, I think it's the emotion. I think that's what's out of sync is, the reality is that the Customs and Border Patrol people, the kind of systems that we have, including drones, electronic sensors, we have a tremendous amount invested in border security. So it's not that there's nothing there. It's not like people just walk back and forth. It's not that. It's that there are illegals and there's tremendous pressure coming from these people, actually drug dealers is what I was going to say, but they are drug cabals that now are into human smuggling. So it's like a whole mess. And then you think about the kind of issues that drive people to seek to come to the United States, the violence in their home countries, the poverty, the political repression. All that is true. So when she says that there is a broken system and that we have a border, it's kind of true, but it's out of sync in my mind with the emotional impact, because you have people who are worried that, in fact, the country is being run over. I think immigration has been weaponized as a political issue. Most of the people who are illegally here actually are overstaying visas. That's still the case. But I understand the concern. If it's a legitimate concern, let the Congress get involved. Republican and Democrat
you're absolutely
act
right.
to fix
Yes,
the system.
Okay, but that is the best point, because it's not just people overstaying visas. It's people seeking asylum who, normally would not be granted asylum. And, to Gary's point, there are not enough judges on the border to process all of these claims.
Right.
But what we need, Robby, is if we had a humane immigration system where people could come and go, more of them would go. But the fact that it is so confusing and partisan, and it is this cruel pendulum that swings back and forth depending on which party holds power, it's no surprise that this is what we're getting.
And that's really the key observation. This is inhumane. It is not humane for people to be crossing in this manner, crossing the southern border illicitly and illegally. They die doing it all the time, or they're at the mercy of drug smugglers. I think many Americans, most Americans, know that having a streamlined immigration process so that people could come here, work, small businesses, construction businesses. There's so many people who can't find employees for businesses. If we fix the problem problem. If we reform the system, people could come here more easily. We need to do that. But in the meantime, we can't just let people stream across in these unsafe, hazardous conditions. It's not humane. It's not good for them. It's not good for anyone. And for Kamala Harris to pretend, no, there's no issue. It's secure. It's fine. I mean, how much more out of touch you can be? I mean, she's been set up to fail being put in charge of this. She has no clue what she's doing and no expertise, which is kind of interesting. But it's really a joke to say it's secure.
Imagine if she succeeded. Imagine if she really did exceed expectations and, fixed immigration in a bipartisan way that administration after administration could use her blueprint. She would be legendary. But she can't even do the basics because she can't name the problems. How are you supposed to fix anything if you can't properly identify what's going wrong?